Hello and happy holidays, everybody. My name is Scott,
And my name is Deeb.
and this is the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. Let's hit the intro.
Well, yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Single Barrel Podcast, episode 3. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I had my Santa beard on there, but this is the podcast for the average sports fan. We're two average guys. We're here to share some sports updates, have some fun, and drink some bourbon. Well, what's going on, Scott? How you doing this week?
Hey, man, we're doing good. Getting ready for the holidays. It's Monday night. We're recording here on the 23rd with the holidays coming up, and I got family in town. My brother Rob, he flew in, so we've been hanging out, and we're gonna enjoy Parker's first Christmas together here at home. So we're really looking forward to that. What's new with you?
Nice, man. Well, I'm glad you have some family in town. You're able to relax, able to chill, and be able to have. It sounds like a more chill Christmas this year. Nothing too crazy. We're actually about to head out of town tomorrow morning, so we go back to visit our family who lives about 2.5 hours away. Luckily, both of our family live right down the road from each other, so we're able to spend time with my in-laws as well as my parents and siblings. But yeah, it's been a busy weekend. I had my cousin up here with his fiance this past weekend, and so we had some fun and watched some sports, and I got some of his takes. So, maybe try to share some of those because we watched college football. And other than that, looking forward to chatting some sports.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Well, hey, I know we were both in the fantasy football playoffs this weekend. How did things shake out for you? Let's talk about maybe your primary league.
Yeah. So for me, I'm only in one league. I used to do many leagues, but it just got to be too much to keep up with. And I don't know, at the end of the day, like I wasn't having fun playing. It was just a lot. So I in one league, it's the league that, with many of my friends, those of you that are watching, shout out to y'all who we've been in the same league for a while, but I made it to the playoffs. My team has been hot and cold. I can score a ton of points one week and then almost no points the next week, but made it to the playoffs. I'm facing the number one seed, which, I will actually, I'm going to share a clip of someone who I was playing, one of my friends, Kyle. He actually sent me a clip of him talking about our matchup beforehand. So I'm actually going to, I think, post that, or maybe we're going to include that in this video if possible. And I will kind of talk about my reaction back to him now, knowing what actually happened, which I'm going to win and move into the championship. So tonight's game, Monday night, doesn't even matter. I've already secured my win. So, I'm going to be top 2. So let's go. How about you?
Hell yeah. Well, congrats on that. I am very passionate about fantasy football, and I have had the opposite story for myself this week. So I came into the playoffs number 2. I had the first round bye. My team was probably the hottest in the league, scoring record-setting numbers for the last several weeks. And, there's a guy that I've lost to twice this season. They were both his 2 biggest games of the whole year by far. And we matched up this weekend for the third time. Usually, you say third time's the charm, but this time he went even bigger and scored his biggest score of all time. So I went down. It hurts. Rub some dirt on it. We talk about sports and life goes on.
Yeah, I know you were texting me this weekend about it. I mean, it's tough, right? Like a lot of it is, let's be honest, a lot of it is luck. Some of it is strategy. You got to have the pickups, you got to have kind of timing. But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
at any point, someone can go off and there's nothing you can do. I've had it happen with my team, I've had it happen against my team, injuries. Like there's just a lot to it. And that's what I think keeps us coming back, right?
Oh, you know it, man. And we'll be right back in the fight next year. Listen, I've always said this and I truly believe it. Anybody that makes the playoffs has a chance, no matter how good or bad your team is. You just need that one big week. I didn't have it this week. I had it last week during my bye. I didn't have it this week when it counted. So, we took the early exit this year and we rebuild. It's a dynasty. I'm looking forward to drafting here in next summer, and we'll rebuild.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you got time. Dynasty leagues, there's long term. So you got rookies coming out. You got a good rookie class. So I'm sure you got it. I know you're an ultimate fantasy football team manager just from being with you on random vacations and hearing you talk about it. So you'll get there.
You know
Um,
what? We'll be right back at the top next year. All right. Well, let's kick it over to social media promotions here. One of the things we talk about each week is we want to hear from you. We want to share our clips and stories. We want to share your stories here on the podcast. So please check us out, singlebarrelsports.com. You can subscribe to the website to get onto our email list. But that website also has links to all of the social media that we post on, which includes X, Instagram, TikTok. We post full length episodes on both YouTube and Spotify, and we also post shorts on YouTube as well. So please check it out, and we will call out some things that we see from social media on future podcast episodes as well. So we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to include you in next week's show.
yeah, definitely. I love seeing people interact with things on social media. I think it's the fun part and part of the fun part of, having a podcast. So we appreciate all the support. We really enjoy seeing people repost stuff, comment on stuff. Even if you just have time to like something or share your thoughts, we really, really appreciate the support. So let's go ahead and move into the weekly recap. We got a couple things we're going to talk about, but I think what we were going to start with was, again, maybe seems like the thing that we keep coming back to, but it's really the highlight of what's going on right now in sports, which is the college football playoff. So we had our first round of college football playoff games. And let's go ahead and maybe just get started with, I think, a clip, right? We wanted to show a clip here, uh, something that we thought was kind of funny. So I'm gonna pull this up.
Yeah. It's been circulating the internet here. This is a pretty funny clip considering the outcome of their game. So let's hear from the head coach of Indiana.
All right, here's what he had to say before the game, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, look, okay, of course, there's a lot of skeptics. There's a lot of doubters. I get it, right? Haven't beat a top 25 team. Nebraska's 25th in coach poll. We beat their 56-7, And I've never beat a top 25 team. Well, Coastal Carolina back when we were little James Madison, moving up to the Sun Belt, they were 22nd end of the year. We beat them 47-7. Okay, so we don't just beat top 25 teams. We beat the
Yeah, so he says we don't just beat top 25 teams, we beat the shit out of them. Well, let's talk about what happened this weekend. Deeb, go ahead if you want to start.
Well, that guy seemed like he might have been drinking some bourbon before he said that, but so let's start with that game. So Indiana faced Notre Dame, and they kind of got. I mean, it wasn't actually, the end score wasn't as bad as maybe when you watch the actual game, but man, Notre Dame really smoked them. 27-17 was the final score of the game, but I thought that Notre Dame actually was in control of the game. I did not think Indiana was keeping up with them. They kind of made a little bit of a run at the end, but I thought, yeah, Notre Dame, kind of a surprise. I actually didn't pick Notre Dame in my bracket, mainly because I'm kind of a Notre Dame hater. But what did you think about that game?
Well, I think it went how I thought it might, and I did pick Notre Dame in my bracket, but it actually sparked some further controversy, and this is something we touched on in the very first week of the podcast, is how the playoff selection was, how the committee chose the team. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just sidebar that for now. But just Indiana got smoked. It wasn't a highly entertaining game.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of revisit that after we talk about some of the other games. Let's go to Penn State versus SMU. SMU, one of those teams that snuck in, right? How'd that one go?
Yeah, so a lot of discussion, controversy over SMU. Did they deserve a spot? They were in the ACC Championship. They lost on a last-minute field goal to Clemson, but they got smoked, absolutely just handed to them by Penn State, 38-10, a very lopsided battle. Any thoughts on that game?
Well, Penn State's my national champion on my bracket, so I was happy to see them come out and show out, but they've got an uphill battle ahead, so I'm not going to count this as any type of a major victory quite yet. Just happy to see them advancing.
Yeah, for now. Then we had Texas versus Clemson. So, again, Clemson did pull out that ACC championship. Texas lost in the SEC championship, but a lot of people still like Texas. Texas won 38-24. A lopsided game as well. I thought maybe a little bit closer in this matchup, but I don't know. Clemson kind of just looked like how Clemson has been playing for most of this year.
Yeah. I have a friend who told me that Clemson was going to win this game because they had Texas's number, and they did score early. They were up 7-0, but this game went how we thought that it might, with Texas winning by a 2-possession game here.
Yep. And then the final game, which I think this was maybe more of an anticipated game, or at least from what I was seeing on social media, Ohio State versus Tennessee. So Big Ten SEC Big Ten SEC matchup. Man, Ohio State smoked Tennessee. It was 42-17. And this is another game where it looked like they were in control almost the entire game. I did not really think Tennessee had a shot. I was a little surprised, but I thought I saw a stat. Maybe this was on X or somewhere else. And I don't know if you caught this, Scott, but after Ohio State has lost to Michigan at the end of the year, I think it's been like the past 4 or 5 years, their first game back, so either in like if they go to the Big Ten Championship, or if not, if they go to the playoff, their offense actually catches fire. They score a lot of points, and I don't know if it's just like a payback redemption, but I was actually anticipating that they were going to score a lot based on that. I just didn't think Tennessee was going to get crushed like they did. What'd you think of this one?
Well, I first of all want to give Ohio State their flowers. We kind of dumped on them a little bit last week because of the flag planting bill in Ohio. And, in no ways was that really saying that the team was bad. This is a team at the beginning of this year. I actually had either Texas or Ohio State probably, as my predictions for the national champions. Now Oregon has stepped up, and I think they're great too. But, we expected Ohio State to be good this season. They had a rough couple of games, but they did deliver in this game, and it was not close. And, it does beg a question. I've seen a lot of stir on social media saying, that the SEC should have had some other teams in. Some of their 3-loss teams would have been better than SMU or better than Indiana, would have made for more entertaining football. So I have kind of 2 directions I want to go from here first, but I do want to revisit a question we asked in the very first episode of the podcast here.
Yeah.
So did the selection committee do a good job choosing these teams? We've had some lopsided games this weekend, some very maybe unentertaining games this weekend, one-sided games. And you got some head coaches from the SEC actually coming out and kind of criticizing the selection and saying that their team would have been more competitive for these games. So what do you think?
It's very hard since it's the first year. I don't want to just jump to a conclusion that, oh my gosh, the system's automatically broken. I mean, whenever it's the first time, you're going to learn some lessons. You're going to be able to make things hopefully better for the future. But at the same time, if you just make it only SEC and Big Ten, you know what I mean? It makes it so that no one else can even play in this playoff, and it makes it so that other conferences and other schools, they have nothing to look forward to. So I don't think that they did a bad job. I think they did a job, and they did what they could with the information and the records and the losses and the strength of schedule and all the things that they factor in. I think that they're just going to maybe learn. It could just be how they seed, right? It could just be how do you seed and who gets seeded where in this first round. And that could be the thing that they need to figure out. But I haven't given up on them. I actually think they did a pretty reasonable job. I just think it happens. Like even in March Madness, you get, matchups that are lopsided in that first round, no matter what you do. So some of it's just going to be the nature of it as well. What'd you think?
Yeah, actually, I agree entirely with kind of the premise of your comment there. And let me just kind of elaborate a little bit more. It's mostly SEC buzz that we were hearing this weekend about more SEC teams should have been in. And then you get to this game where Tennessee is here representing the SEC and gets absolutely destroyed by Ohio State. So not a good catalyst to say, let's put a bunch of SEC teams in.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, and I agree with your point, if we start favoring, at this point, it's pretty clear. There's 2 major conferences, right? It's the Big Ten and the SEC. They are the best conferences in football. But if we start to favor them, then we're never going to have recruiting going to other schools and other conferences. They're never going to get the 5-star athletes. It's going to be very rare to see any other teams. Like you said, we're going to we might as well just have 2 conferences then at that point.
Yeah.
So that's a concern I have. So I do think they did an okay job. And I said this originally. I didn't hate their selections. One thing I think that maybe could be considered, and I've heard Kirk Herbstreit talk about this, and I think he summed it up perfectly. Do we want the best teams? Do we want the 12 best teams, regardless of record, most competitive teams for the playoffs? Or do we want the 12 most deserving teams based upon what they've accomplished? And that's a hard question to answer because they might have gotten the top 12 deserving teams in this playoff. Now, Kirk Herbstreit says that they want the top 10 best teams. Maybe they didn't choose the top 12 best teams. Maybe they didn't do that this time. Maybe they missed the mark, but it's the first time they've done 12 teams, and I do believe they did a decent enough job. I think there's room for refining of any new processing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't know, they have a lot of factors that they're trying to figure out when they pick the seeding in the bracket. So I just think with time, they're going to get better at it. Hopefully, again, it's a hope. I'm not saying it's perfect or it will be, but I'm just hoping that as they learn lessons, they're going to get better in how they select and who they select.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens next year, and we'll see what happens with the rest of this playoffs. I mean, we're not done yet. Like, let's see what Boise State does. Let's see what Arizona State does. Like, there's some teams in here that have proven to be competitive, and we'll see what they do.
And speaking of the college football playoff, I know, so we started a bracket and we started a pool for people to join through ESPN. Maybe we should take a look at the bracket standings and just, take a look at kind of where people are at just to give people an idea.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up here.
While you pull that up, let's just kind of shout out, 18 people joined this pool. We really appreciate, or 19. There ends up being 19.
I was going to say 19.
We appreciate everyone who did that. Obviously, it's a lot more fun when there's more people involved here. And you can kind of see the screen now. I know it's a little bit small, but why don't you talk me through kind of what you're seeing here, Deeb?
Here, I can zoom in a little. Yeah, so, I mean, basically what we have here is, there's a total number of points. So that's how many points I think each team has scored so far. There is percentages, max. I think the max, how it calculates it, is like the max amount of points you can still get based on who has won and who has lost. And so it kind of tries to give you an idea of, what percentage of the games you've picked so far and then where you could end up with the scoring. So still early on, but I mean, right now, look at that. We have a tie for first place right now. And wow, Scott is actually at the top. I'm not surprised. I'll give a shout out to Eli, and I think this is one of the guys that I play indoor golf with, so I'm going to give him a shout out as well. That you guys are right now perfect in your picks, and then we have a bunch of people right now too that are tied for fourth place. So I see Nick in there, Travis, myself, your buddy Zach, Lauren. People who I think have maybe just missed one game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Mine was the Notre Dame game. I picked Indiana, and then I'm not sure what everybody else. I could actually take a look, but and then we still have a lot of people who are quote unquote in the they're in the fight. Other than I don't actually know who this is because it doesn't say their name, but they picked SMU to win, which was a really, really ballsy pick, I have to say.
Yeah, it was bold, but hey, upsets happen, especially playoff time. So you never know.
Yep. And then I'm actually confused as to why this one says 0. I actually want to look at this. I don't know whose bracket this is, but
well, if you look at all their picks, they were wrong, and that's why it says 0.
So they picked Clemson to win, Tennessee to win, SMU. Oh wow! So they literally got none of them right in the first round. Wow.
You know what? Kudos to them for rooting for some upsets. I think it shows underdogs in every game, and normally you'd hit one or two of those, I would think. So
I actually don't. Yeah, I don't mind that strategy.
I agree. Not a bad strategy, just unfortunate result for that person.
Yeah, because I've done March Madness brackets that way, where I'm like, I just want to pick the underdog and see, how many I can actually hit. So I don't actually know whose that is, but whoever that is, again, nice way to be different in your picks.
Yes. And you don't got to stress about the bracket anymore.
Yeah. Well, I guess you tried,
Well, I guess they do. The max points is still 825. There's still a chance.
What if this person just wins? Would you be shook?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be possible because they have Oregon winning, which so does 3/4 of our league.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard to catch up, but you never know. I'm the only Penn State in the league, so I'm really, really pulling for them now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are some unicorns, the Georgias, Texas, Ohio States.
I'm surprised there's only one Ohio State and only one Texas, man. Those are two very competitive teams.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people also like to default to the best team, so I get it. Like when I say best team, the team who's ranked number 1 in the bracket.
Yep, for sure.
But, they're my Oregon Ducks, so the best team.
Yeah. Let's just shout out everybody one more time. Thank you for everyone who took part in the bracket, and we'll keep following along in the journey. As we said, come beat us, and we'll see how it shakes out, man. Because if Penn State doesn't win, I'm definitely going to go down. So I'm all in on them now at this point, it seems.
Yeah. I see another story in here that you would put in here is something about CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, well, we talked last week about LeBron taking some personal time and kind of nursing an injury, and I just thought it was really relevant that CeeDee Lamb played yesterday through kind of a shoulder injury. He played a really good game, and when interviewed afterwards, they said, well, this season's kind of lost. Like, why are you playing through injuries? And CD basically said, the fans paid for these tickets to see the best wide receiver in football play, so that's what they're going to get. So yeah, it was just an interesting thing to kind of, we had that conversation last week about taking breaks, about trying to avoid injuries, take care of your bodies. And this is just an opposite take on it this week from CeeDee Lamb. He said, if they pay for it, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's very timely. Maybe he listened to the pod last week and he heard
listening out there, CD. Thank you for tuning in.
We'll have to tag him in this. Maybe he'll respond to us. We'll see. So we're going to move into the NFL recap. I think we don't have a ton to say on some of these games, so we're just going to try to get through this a little bit quickly, just to kind of give some scores and maybe one or two comments, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the games that we thought were important, or some interesting things happened. So first we had Los Angeles Chargers 34, Denver Broncos 27. I was just surprised. A good matchup. Obviously, I picked the Broncos last week, but I was just surprised that the Chargers actually won this game. So, kudos to them.
They're a good team, man. They're missing that star wide receiver. That's all they need to really be kind of at the top level. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs 27, Houston Texans 19. That injury to Tank Dell was the big story. I thought it was very, very sad to see. I hate seeing that kind of stuff, but oh man, it was disgusting.
And one of the best games of his season so far. He was, I think, 98 yards and a touchdown, and it was only like halfway through the game. And just a horrific injury, very tough to watch, and really just rooting for a good recovery for him. He seems like he's a pretty good dude, and you hate to see that happen to anybody.
Yeah, and it was friendly fire. It's it wasn't necessarily him running into someone else. It was kind of him falling on somebody in a weird way on his own team. We had Ravens 34, Steelers 17. Another big Lamar Jackson game, rivalry match, and I don't think it's a surprise, maybe, that the Ravens won. They've been steamrolling. So,
Steelers have a great record, but I think everybody was in on the Ravens this week.
Yeah, Falcons 34, Giants 7. A very low ranking team, both of them, but rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. leads them to a dominant win. What did you think of his performance?
He couldn't have been surrounded by a better supporting cast and a better opponent for his first NFL start. He had 2 defensive touchdowns, if I recall. I know it was at least 2. So that really helps a young quarterback kind of feel comfortable and kind of making sure to get that win. I think he had 1 interception and 1 touchdown, if I recall. Definitely 1 touchdown at least. But a solid game. It sounds like, no red flags there. They got the W, but it was the Giants.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll see when they play somebody that's real. Lions 34, Bears 17. Lions set the franchise record with their 13th win of the season, so they break a record, winning the most games in their franchise history, which, round of applause.
Yeah, kudos to them. They're a very exciting team to watch, and they've worked a long time to have these kinds of seasons.
Colts 38, Titans 30. Nothing crazy there. Bengals 24, Browns 6. Again, nothing crazy, kind of battle of, whatever. Carolina Panthers 36, Cardinals 30 in overtime. And there was a game-winning touchdown run sealing the victory. You know who had that run?
It was a Chuba Hubbard run. Yeah, it was a Hubbard run. And, someone who recently moved to North Carolina, you don't see this team win much. They won in pretty dramatic fashion and ended the Arizona Cardinals' hopes for playoffs this season.
Yeah. I think I saw a clip about, it might have been the Cardinals tight end or somebody that was kind of pissed after.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He said that they're effing sorry. That's how he described their team. So,
yeah. Game of the week, Commanders 36, Eagles 33. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but Jalen Hurts out with a concussion. They secured the 10th win of the season for the Commanders and their best start since 1991.
Yeah. Yep. They got a rookie quarterback. He's balling out. Best season that they've had in 33 years. That's pretty good. Pretty good for him. And Very close game. Had an interesting finish, so we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a controversial finish. Los Angeles Rams 16, Jets 9. Boring game. We'll talk about that too, maybe when we talk about our bet. Minnesota Vikings 27, Seahawks 24. I'm actually just surprised the Seahawks kept up.
Close game there.
Are really good. Raiders 19, Jaguars 14. The only story or thing I have for that is the Raiders may have ruined their first overall draft pick chances with the win. So I just think that's kind of funny. I know.
As a fan, probably not super pumped about that. As a player, they were probably glad that they finally got a victory after several weeks.
Yeah, Brock Bowers was excited after the game. Bills 24, Patriots 21. You said you wanted to mention something on this?
Well, yeah, just big story here. You know, we've been high. I've especially been high on the Josh Allen train this season, the Bills train this season, and they were down 14-0. It looked like quite a hill to climb in this game, and it wasn't pretty, but they did make a comeback here, and they won a 3-point game here at the end. So close game, not what I expected, but just another win for the Bills.
Yeah, and that's always a bad blood match. So I feel like it's going to be like one of those rival games that could be close.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins 29, 49ers 17. Dolphins got a win that they needed. Cowboys 26, Buccaneers 24. This one had a weird finish. What did you see there?
Yeah, dramatic finish here. We had a play where Baker Mayfield made a pretty tough escape from a sack here and did kind of a weird little like shovel pass out to Rachaad White, who looked like he was going to gain just a couple of yards and move on to the next play. And then all of a sudden you realize that right before he hit the ground, the Cowboys took that ball out of his hands. There was a fumble in the closing minutes. I think it was like less than 2 minutes left in that game. Cowboys get a field goal and they win. So
yeah,
rough. That bad break for Rachaad White. He's already been losing touches to Bucky Irving, and that is not going to help his stock at all.
It will help my fantasy team, but that's about all I'll say. And I also have Baker Mayfield, so I'm okay if he throws a couple touchdowns here and there. But yeah, weird finish to that one. So we also wanted to mention our picks from last week. So looks like this week you went 4-1 and I went 3-2. I think still pretty good for both of us, honestly. Here, being average, our average sports fan who is just trying out here. So that brings our total so far for the season, or at least when we started this, 7-2 for you and 6-3 for me. So hey, we're both over 500 so far.
Not bad, yeah, and that's playing against the spread too. That's not just choosing the winner. So that's actually pretty good. And if we were betting money, we'd be happy right now with that kind of success.
Yeah, I mean, just goes to show, some average fans who drink bourbon can pick games. What can we say?
Hey, so we didn't talk about the Bengals game much because there wasn't a whole lot to say, but there was one play that I really want to highlight here. And maybe if you can pull up here, the Joe Burrow, that touchdown that he threw. I'm sure we've all seen it, but what the hell, man? Like, how do you throw this ball this way? And this is just a freak of nature kind of a play here. So check this out.
Okay, here's the actual play.
Yeah, and we have volume on this, so I'll shut up. Okay.
We have barely played 8 minutes. Burrow, pocket collapses. Burrow stumbling and just masterfully gets it.
Just unbelievable.
I think they show a replay. Let's see. Like a slow-mo, maybe. Maybe not.
Not on this one. It doesn't look like it.
Hold on.
But just the fact that he was horizontal is just actually insane. Like when he released that ball, he was literally like laying on the ground, but he hasn't touched. It's like, yeah.
He's right here.
His body is bent up, right? But like look,
he wasn't down, right? Like they did read all.
It was not down. It was a touchdown. Like that's just a crazy touchdown play.
Okay. Yeah, that is insane.
And another play I thought was worth highlighting here. The Lions had a pretty interesting play this week, and there's some lore to it. There's some history here. The Lions, their film room must be elite. I read about this earlier today, but they noticed during a Packers game that Jordan Love stumbled on a play, and it broke down the coverage because the secondary thought he was falling, and it opened up like a first down pass after that. So this was a designed play where they make the running back Gibbs fall down and Jared Goff stumble to make it look like they fell down during a handoff, and then it turns into what you'll see here.
All right. Oh my gosh.
Look how open Laporta is on that play.
Also,
so they made it look like a failed run play, right?
Look at this guy right here. Number 6. Watch him bite. And then right There's it right there. You gotta look at him. Look.
Yep.
Hold on. Watch the shift. Watch the body language. Right here is when he noticed. Oh, it's like, he just turned around. He was like, "Oh shit, that's a touchdown."
Yeah. So hey, kudos to the Lions film room because, like I said, they saw something that happened in a different game against a different team, and they literally created a trick play off of it. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that was nuts. I love that. I just love when people are strategic like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Another highlight in sports right now is Saquon Barkley. We've been talking about his season pretty much every week, but why don't you talk about something else that not just the MVP watch, but he's approaching a pretty big record here. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so John Clark, he tweeted this, which is really crazy that after 150 rushing yards today, he has 1,830 yard rush, 100, geez, I can't talk, 1,838 rush yards, which he's closing in on the NFL all-time single season rushing record held by Eric Dickerson, which is 2,105, which was in 1984. So he only needs 268 yards. And how many games do we even have left? Well, so he has 2 games.
Like, I think it's against the Giants and the Cowboys. They're not very good teams he's playing against.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Do you think he's going to actually break it?
Well, I think they might make a push for him, but here's the alternative. I mean, if they beat the Giants, it makes Giants even closer to guaranteeing them the number 1 overall draft pick, and that's an interdivision rivalry there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think any NFL team would actually lose to their division rival on purpose to give them a worse draft pick.
Yeah.
But I've seen some speculation out there that says, if the Eagles tank against the Giants, it would help them for years to come because it would stop them from getting maybe like their first pick at a quarterback.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? I don't want to say anything for sure, but I think he has a pretty good chance of breaking that record. He's had a monster season. He needs 134 yards per game, which is a lot. But if anyone can do it, he can do it.
Yeah, well, and especially, I haven't seen the injury report, but if Jalen Hurts is actually injured and he's going to be out, that could open up that they have to rely on the run game, which can be a good and bad thing because then your defense might know that it's coming. But maybe they focus on stopping him because they know that they're a little more one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's very hard to say. But let's talk about the MVP watch now. Obviously, Saquon is a part of that. The odds haven't really shifted this week, although they might have narrowed a little bit. So Josh Allen is still technically the favorite if you're looking at the odds, and then followed by Lamar Jackson, and then Saquon Barkley, and then Goff, and then Burrow. What's interesting, though, is if you look at these stats that's on the screen here, this goes back to the wins versus stats argument that we have every year.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at this objectively, Lamar Jackson has more passing yards by quite a lot. He has more total touchdowns, including more passing touchdowns. He has fewer interceptions, a higher completion percentage, a higher passing rating, but he has 2 fewer losses. Now, this is like the exact opposite of last year where Josh Allen had the stats over Lamar, but they had a better record. So it's very fascinating to me, but I feel like Lamar this week might have actually picked up a little bit of ground. He had a better game than Allen had. So who knows? It's challenging to say here, but what do you think about this?
Well, it is hard because when you talk about the most valuable player, I'm trying not to, think of Heisman because that's different. But when you think of the most valuable player, to me, it's your stats. What are the stats you're putting up? But it does also have to do with wins, in my opinion. And I think for you to be the most valuable player and the value that you bring to a team, it's showing that you can help that team win. So not only do you have to have the great stats, which are going to help your team win, but you also have to help them win. And I get that, maybe the backlash on that would be, well, they don't play defense, if they're in a quarterback, and they don't play running back, and they don't play wide. So not all that's in your hands. But that's the thing is if you're the leader of the offense or you're a leader on your team on whatever side of the ball it is, you're trying to inspire those guys. And, the quarterback has a lot of control over what happens on offense. They don't control everything, but they're controlling who's getting the ball, maybe even helping maybe a little bit with play calls and audibles and reading the defense. So, like,
Oh yeah.
in my opinion, I do think the record does need to be taken into account. It's hard because, like you said, we had an opposite scenario last year, and the most valuable player was not the person with the stats, right? It was the
Right.
person with the better record.
Yep. So
Um,
it would be kind of a weird thing if it exact opposite thing happened to the same exact two people. But when you're talking about records here, let's go back to records, right? Like Saquon might break the all-time rushing yard record in a season, and he's projected to be third for MVP. That's an interesting thing to me, and I don't want to go too in depth on that. But he's had a lot of touchdowns taken away from him because of quarterback sneaks by Jalen Hurts this season.
Yeah.
He's potentially going to break the all-time leading rushing record. Like, he deserves to be in the conversation. I think he should be a little bit more in it than what he is. But that's all I'll say about that for this week. We'll revisit that next week.
I don't know, 2024/2025, or the beginning of 25 could be the year of just great running backs getting snubbed this year. So it happened in college football. It might happen in the NFL. Likely going to happen in the NFL. So we'll see.
It's very possible. But, I think that's enough for NFL. Let's talk about other news here. Something happened in golf this weekend that was pretty cool. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we're moving into in other news where we try to cover topics outside of the norm and maybe some things that are a little bit more different. So in golf, we had the PNC Championship this past weekend, which is actually, for those of you that may not be as familiar with golf, it's actually a really cool event. It's an event where basically a professional golfer, and it can be male or female, doesn't have to be, they play intermix. It's not like, male only or female only. So pro golfers, they get to play with their children. So they get to bring their child if that person, plays golf, and they usually have to be pretty good. Like, it can't just be some scrub if you want to, show up and play in this. But usually they'll have one of their children, and they will play together basically. So they'll play as like a pairing, and it's always a really fun event to watch. But in the more recent years, Tiger Woods has been playing with his son, Charlie. So Charlie is, I think he's like high school age, maybe like 16 or 17, something like that. And so he's just gotten better and better over the years. And, Tiger, of course, has dealt with injuries. So this is a really cool clip from the championship. This is actually a hole-in-one that is, I think, one of Charlie's, I thought I read it was his first hole-in-one ever, which was during this. And so he got to share the moment with his dad. So let's go ahead and watch this clip real quick.
Really good contact. This is a great looking shot if it's the right number.
Oh, it is the right.
He doesn't even know.
That's my favorite part of this clip is he doesn't know right away that he did it. And then when he realizes it, he's just like, you just see how proud he is.
Tiger wasn't even paying attention.
Actually, not watching. He had to take a break for a second, comes back out. Here's the roar of the crowd. And Charlie won.
My favorite part is that Tiger wasn't even watching. They're like,
Hey.
he had to take a break for a second.
That's like me when I golf with you, man. You hit a good clip, you hit a good swing, but I'm over in the beer cart or something. You miss these things.
And then the other thing I wanted to share about that is that it was a cool event too, because Tiger and Charlie ended up tying for first place. So they went to a playoff with another team called Team Langer. And I think they're from Germany. Yeah, there's a German golfer, and I believe his son. They ended up losing in the playoff. So they came so close to actually winning this, which they've never done before. So it was actually just really cool to see them in contention. Obviously a lot of Tiger fans out there and whatnot. So that's how it ended. But yeah, it came down to the wire on that one. And that, I believe, was one of the plays that helped them to stay in contention was the hole-in-one play.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. You'd love to see that, and love to see the embrace at the end too. I mean, think about I have a small child, 8 months old, so I just imagine moments like that. I'm never going to be probably golfing at a high level with him, but there's things like that you can just bond over, and I can't wait to have that in my life. So I can really feel that emotion that they had.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then I think we had another one on here that was from the NBA, which I'm going to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, we just we live for a good poster dunk, right? Just getting posterized, and we had one of these this week. DeAndre Hunter dunking up over the top of Wemby. So yeah, if you want to show the clip, it's just a good classic poster dunk, and back in the '90s, this would have been hung up on a wall somewhere.
And he just fell down again.
No,
wrong one. Yeah, we'll visit this one in a bit.
Sorry, I got a lot of tabs pulled up here. 1 second. Wemby is, I will say, he is just a freak. Like, for those of you who have never heard of him, he is an NBA player that is on. He's someone who's joined the NBA within the last few years, and he's like, I don't even know, he's like 7'3" or 7'6" or something crazy. And like, this guy is crazy. He can handle the ball, he can block, he can dunk. Like, he is an amazing player. I would say he's probably like the next, if he continues, maybe like the next big thing after LeBron, because I know, LeBron's career is kind of coming to a close, but this guy just
running start to the
gets dunked on.
Maxey last year improvised.
Oh yeah, and the look down really makes it, right? When they hit the ground and you look down at them.
Yeah. And also just look, he's like not even jumping. This just shows you look how long this guy's arms are. He's barely off the ground, and his hand is like almost touching the ball. He's a freak. But you know what? It just goes to show that even tall guys can get dunked on still.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, little short on other news this week. Let's head over to the halftime pour. It's one of my favorite segments because we can really incorporate the bourbon and the sports here. So why don't you tell me what you're drinking this week and tell me why you chose it?
Yeah, so this is one that I actually just opened this weekend. So this is an Old Forester. It is a single barrel. There we go. Single barrel. It is a pick from our favorite OBC down in Lexington, Kentucky.
Nice.
So they actually had a pick when we went there, and my cousin Anthony, shout out to him, was able to he got me this bottle about a month or two before we went on the trail because he was down there. And so I told him 100% yes. So Old Forester, single barrel, 100 proof. It is a lower proof. So when I say lower proof, 100 proof, it's very smooth. I know you and I love this bourbon because we took it up north when we used to go camping, and we smoked cigars and drank this, and it paired very, very well with those. And the reason I picked it this week is I'm hoping for a smooth holiday season. So I wanted to pick something that was an easy drink, something that's relaxing, and, something that you can just sip on. So that's my pick for the week.
Hell yeah.
How about you?
All right. Well, I've got another one that's 100 proof, ironically.
Nice.
And actually, you'll recognize this because you got it for me. It's the New Riff bourbon whiskey here. This is a distillery that Deeb and I have gone to a few times, and it was a moving away present for myself whenever my family uprooted and moved to North Carolina. And you'll get a kick out of this, Deeb, but I chose this one this week because it was a gift from you to me. And I figured I would drink on your dollar tonight because of how I keep kicking your ass at our bets of a week.
All right. Well, I can't really say anything to that, I guess, because it kind of rizzed me up a little, and then you brought me right back down. But with that, I think we gotta do a pour here and do a cheers, and then we actually have a little question that we like to do with the halftime pour, which this week is. Actually, wait. Talk about before we do the question. Tell them about our pick from last week and what happened and why I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah. So the pick of the week last week was it was the Commanders-Eagles game. It had a pretty interesting finish that we'll talk about up in the blunder section here very soon. But that was our pick of the week. I did win that pick, and we had a bet on that. And so the bet was basically that Deeb will have to do an impersonation. I'll give him 3 options to choose from. And we're going to be posting that out on our social media. So make sure you're following like our YouTube, Instagram, TikToks. You'll see some short clips of him doing impersonations here over the next week. And hopefully we'll enjoy that. But I'm just glad it's not me.
Should be fun. But you know what? Cheers, my friend.
Cheers to you, brother.
And our question of the night If you could pair a specific bourbon with the vibe of any sports team or athlete, which combo would you choose and why?
Ooh, you know what? I haven't talked about the Jets much today. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets because it's kind of the same story, same week, right? Same story, different week. First of all, no touchdowns last week. No, they did. They had one touchdown, missed extra point. Not a good week for them.
Yep.
But there's a bourbon that it has the name of Weller on it, so everyone goes crazy over all the Weller bourbons. It's called Special Reserve, and I specially reserve it for being the last bottle that I drink when I run out of everything else because it ages, but it doesn't age well. Just like the Jets season this year and just like the Jets season last year, they've been aging out this process and having the same, actually maybe worse results this season. So I'm going to dog on Weller Special Reserve. I'm going to pair that with the Jets, and I'm going to dog on them and Aaron Rodgers as well.
I knew he was going to somehow come back around to Aaron Rodgers, especially after seeing the bet that we put out there from this past week and how the Jets were part of the screwing over part. But anyways, I like that. I like that pick. I would say mine is going to be, I'm actually going to change it up and I'm going to pick an athlete because yeah, I think I'm gonna change it up. The athlete I'm gonna select is, let's see here. I'm going to pick Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow for being, kind of a cool guy, really relaxed, a winner. Like sometimes his team just doesn't do well and they don't win games, even though he's doing well as an individual. And I'm going to have to say the bourbon that I would compare that to is an E.H. Taylor single barrel. The reason is because E.H. Taylor, the man himself, was kind of like Joe Burrow, a cool guy. He set a bunch of records. He was a lawmaker. He changed the bourbon industry. And he's just one of those guys that was doing things well, but shit didn't always go his way. He had to, I think, close down his distillery at some point. Like, he tried, but sometimes things just didn't go his way. So cheers to Joe Burrow. Cheers to E.H. Taylor.
Cheers to both, man. Cheers to both.
All right.
Hell yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
We're going to move into our community call-outs, which is one of my favorite sections that we get to talk about people who have been listening and who have been commenting. So you want to talk a little bit and give people some shout outs for some of their activity this past week. And then I'm going to actually pull up, I think this week we're going to do our TikTok account and give some shout outs to some of our initial followers. But do you want to do the call outs for the other individuals first?
Hell yeah, I do. So just across all of our different social media platforms, first of all, a wholehearted thank you for following along and engaging with us because it gives us things to get excited about and things to talk about here. So some of the stuff we saw this week from Wayne talking about Deeb out in the snow, announcing that episode 2 had dropped, said he loves the commitment. We'd love to see that. From Eli talking about how he was going to plant the flag in Ohio State soon. Kinsey Copter showing some love for the episode 2 announcement on Instagram. We had Kevin, Jay Grayshaw, Dwayne Connor, Rock Shipper, R. Fritz on TikTok, all kind of talking about the Ohio flag planting. Dylan Dimes and DeCubs talking about the Heisman winner and what happened there. Kara Lou shouting us out, calling us kings on YouTube. We appreciate that. They had Tim, Dragoon, and Parrish talking about the flag planting on YouTube. And then Parrish talking about the rules changing, favoring the offense over the defense, and how maybe there might need to be some shifts in pay structures to kind of incentivize defensive players as the game keeps changing. So that was rapid fire. We'd love to hear more from you this coming week. Let us know, comment on our stuff, ask us questions, give us the hot takes, and we'll make sure to shout you out as a part of our show.
Yes, and I was just giving a cheers to all those people and for all their activity. Thank you all so much for the support, commenting, and sharing your thoughts with us. So I'm going to do a quick shout out to our very, very initial TikTok followers. So we have, of course, Scott, you're on there. Eli, Weller, Travis, Amanda, Kiev, Asha, Corey, Matt, Deanna, Kyle, Skylar, Parzival, Tyler, Lissy, April, Raven, Brandon, Christian, Clay, Dylan Dimes, Trevor, The Hog, Bearded Sensei, Kazan Murphy, Coach D76, Big Phil, Coffee, Amy, and Kim. Would you drop your drink?
I dropped my wedding ring and it's fine. I play with that a lot, so I'm so sorry about that interruption.
Well, Cheers to all the people who have followed us on TikTok. We appreciate your support, and Scott's going to control his wedding ring next time.
Got it back on the hand. We're good. Everything's good. Listen, thank you all for the support. Keep commenting and following along, and we'll keep shouting you out and enjoying the journey with you. Now, let's move it over to the Bourbon Blunders. This is where we talk about things that are happening in sports that maybe weren't quite so pretty. So first thing we got going on here, Mason Rudolph started for the Tennessee Titans this week. Had an interesting play. It actually didn't end horribly, but as you watch how this play starts, you can see this wasn't how they quite drew it up here. Let's see what they did. Let's see what happened.
The 25-yard line up the play fake. Rudolph felt, but then is still able to the Pollard.
Look at that.
So in college, though, he would have been down, right?
Yeah, in college, high school, anything other than professional, he would have been downed. You know, you do the fake handoff, fall on the ground, but then he just kind of throws it from his knees to the running back and ends up being a positive play. So not entirely a blunder, but it's still kind of funny to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely call it a blunder, but yeah, a little bit more. I'm kind of honestly impressed that it wasn't like a pick or something. I thought that that's what was going to happen there.
Made some lemonade out of lemons for sure here. Now, the next clip that we've got for you guys is actually kind of insane. This is CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'll wait till this gets pulled up here, but there was a penalty and then an ejection called here. Now, you can see people in each other's faces here. I can imagine there's some trash talk happening, but watch what happens here on this call.
All right. Oh, there's no volume.
That's okay. So the Commanders player knocks his helmet off, hits him in the head, knocks his helmet off. Ref throws the flag and points at him, throws it at the guy who got hit in the head. So
wait, he ejected the wrong person?
No, he ejected who he meant to eject. My question is, I wonder what the hell that guy said.
Oh, I see. So his helmet got shoved off, and then the ref's like yelling at him.
Yep, he must have said something while the helmet was still on that warranted getting hit in the face, and the other guy didn't get penalized, but he did instead. Like, there must have been something crazy that was said on that field.
He must have said something really foul for that to happen.
Why don't you talk about this next one, Deeb? I know this is something near and dear to your heart in the Commanders game. Same game.
Gosh, okay. So we mentioned the Commanders-Eagles. It was the game of the week for last week. It was the one we put our bet on. Listen, I give the Eagles credit. They had a hurt quarterback. They had a lot of, other issues in this game that did not go their way. And on this very last game-winning touchdown drive, let's just take a look at this nice false start by this offensive lineman. Look how clear that is right there. Let me just show it to you one more time. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is the clearest false start I think I've ever seen in a game that's not been called. This guy's a wide receiver. This guy's a wide receiver right here on this play. Doesn't get called. And then, guess what happens? Touchdown and they win. And I lose my bet. Trash.
I got to say, I watched this live, and as soon as I saw the beginning of that play, I was just like, false start, damn it. And then a touchdown happened, and then I was even more upset until I realized they never threw the flag. So we'll take the win. We'll take the win on the bet. Good game, both the Eagles and the Commanders. And that happens sometimes, I suppose.
So this next one is one that I don't even remember. Did I just find this? I feel like I just found this somewhere, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So we're going to show this. This is coming from, I think it's Bussin' with the Boys, which shout out to them, but super random video that they posted for some gym etiquette. So let's see what we're supposed to be doing at the gym.
All right, got the squat rack. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Spotter. Got the spotter. Oh, spotter for the spotter.
Like, what? Where are all these people coming from?
Bro, how many people are in this gym?
Also, is this everybody at the gym?
What? This is synchronized too, man.
What? Also, how is the guy still going who's squatting?
Because he's got a 45 on each side.
It looks like more than that. It looks like at least 2 or 3 plates.
He's thick, bro.
Maybe Xavier's thick. I don't know, but we thought that was a funny one to show.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. I'm pretty sure Joey Swole wouldn't really like that for gym etiquette, but you know what? It was still it was entertaining for sure.
And then this last one is one that I accidentally showed earlier, but this was a flop, right? You said?
Yeah, well, let me talk about it before we show it. So this just happened tonight. Again, we're recording on Monday night, and it's Wemby again. But check out this flop. Basically what happens here is the other player gets ejected from a flop. So let's just show the clip first.
I'm trying to identify where he's at. Is he right
Under the
here?
hoop. Yeah, he's the guy with
he's
the
this
shoes
he's,
there.
Yeah, okay. He's this guy with the pig shoes. All right.
Watch this flop. It's egregious.
He just fell down again.
Notice the announcer says he fell down again.
Hold on,
Somebody
though.
gets ejected.
Hold on, though. It looked like he tripped.
No. Just
Hold on. I got to watch
it again and then watch the other angle.
I'm watching his foot right here. That's what I was looking at initially. Okay, no, he definitely.
Bro, watch the other angle. Yeah, just let it play. Watch this.
Okay.
So this guy gets ejected. They said he pushed him down. He gets ejected, right? Watch this. Watch the replay.
I wonder if the female ref was too short. She couldn't see. Like she was having trouble with.
Watch this. Follow this angle.
Oh my!
So you can stop it there. That's. Oh yeah, watch one more time. Yeah, this angle. I was thinking too.
This looks like a good angle.
He just pushes off and dives. So stop it there.
Was it the female ref that called it?
I don't know.
He's going to get.
So look, this guy gets ejected. Crazy story here, though. The refs reviewed this, realized it was a flop, and they unejected the guy. And this is him coming back onto the court here. You see him putting the jersey back on. Yeah. So hey, listen. Yep, he's coming back to the game now. You can go ahead and stop this. This was a blunder because, first of all, the NBA ratings are down. The NBA is talking about it. They're trying new formats to try and increase their ratings. In my opinion, this is one of the worst things of the game is the flopping. What a cool thing that they corrected their flop here. They corrected the flop. They brought the guy back onto the court, but I haven't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen them do something like that either. So I think that was a good one. And then we had one last blunder, which you said was us again, right?
It was us. Yeah, we put a parlay out on Sunday. I should have known better. We included the Jets and the Rams in an over bet. All things kind of pointed towards this being a decently high-scoring game. That was not. It was very, very low scoring. And then that Buccaneers-Cowboys finish kind of screwed us over too. So we actually didn't do well at all on this bet. That'll happen. Gambling's gambling. We're still up over the last couple of weeks. Our profit is up. But yeah, we missed this week, and I apologize if you tailed, but that's the nature of the beast, and that's why we always say to gamble responsibly.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, betting is betting, like you said, and we let people know it's all for fun. So if you're out there and you are betting, that's you can follow it and you don't. But at the end of the day, maybe we'll make some money. Hopefully, we'll make some.
Well, we're up right now. We're still up right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about like weekly. Maybe we can keep.
Oh yeah, every week. Yep.
All right, so we're moving into the single barrel picks section, which is one of my favorites, where we're going to talk about some picks that we have for the upcoming week. So I think first we wanted to look at, or we're only doing the NFL games this week, right? Because college football, we already have a bracket going. We're not going to revisit, so only NFL games, right?
Yep. We kind of looked at that already, so go ahead and take it away with the NFL stuff. And just as a reminder for everybody. Follow along for any of our picks on social media. We will be posting about these things, including at least once a week, posting some sort of a parlay bet usually on Sundays. So if you're following on Twitter, Instagram, you'll usually see that. We don't really post that kind of stuff to the video platforms. So follow us on everything. You'll catch everything. That's how it works.
Yeah, and the other thing I quickly wanted to mention was if you have suggestions of picks or want to post what you're picking for the week, we'd love to see that too. So tag us on social media if you're making picks, even if they're on your own or things that you're looking for, because we're always looking for that stuff as well to see what are people picking and kind of give us some ideas as well. But I think we're going to do NFL games, so we have a couple games that we're going to pick from. I already talked about our records from last week, so we don't need to talk about that, but first one is a big matchup between the Chiefs and the Steelers, and it looks like the Chiefs are -3 on this. So who do you got in that matchup?
If George Pickens doesn't play, the Steelers are garbage. If George Pickens does play, they're a very decent team that has a great record. Give me the Chiefs.
I want the Steelers to win. I really do. I just think the Chiefs are too good, so I have to pick the Chiefs for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Next one we have Ravens versus Texans. It looks like the Ravens are favored 5.5 in this one.
Give me the Ravens. I mean, without Tank Dell, morale. I mean, Texans are a good team still without Tank Dell, but Ravens are on fire right now. They're really fighting for the top spot in that division with the Steelers. So give me the Ravens. I'll take them -5.5.
The only question I have is, does Texans still have any hopes of a playoff or not?
Oh, yeah, they absolutely do.
Well, 5.5. I'm going to try the Texans for this one. I'm going to try the underdog. I think they could pull it out.
I mean, 5.5 is a big spread, with 2 playoff teams. So,
yep,
for sure.
If anything, it's just a close game, and whatever, it still counts. Next one, we have Falcons, Commanders. This one is important, I think, mainly for the Commanders.
For both.
For both.
Players, yeah, they're
for
both playoff teams right now. If the season ended today, both playoff teams.
But I think for the Falcons, it's also a little bit of Penix, right? Trying to see if does he actually got it or not versus a more reasonable defense. So who do you got in that one? There's Commanders -4 on the spread.
Give me the Commanders -4. I'm from the Show Me State, bro. I was born in Missouri. Penix is going to have to show me more than just beating the Giants for me to think he's a real winner. So I do think I think he's legit. I think he's got a great future. But give me the Commanders for this time.
I actually am going to take the Falcons, and I think that the team is going to ride her bike somehow, and we're going to surprise people by actually beating a real team this week.
You know what? And I hope they do. I actually want to see him succeed.
Well, I don't want to say that, but, he played for Washington, which is Oregon's rival, but I want to see them win this game so I can beat you. So now we have our game. We have our game of the week, which is the Packers and the Vikings. So it's important for both teams. It's a divisional matchup late in the season. Vikings are trying to get that first round bye, hoping the Lions will lose. Packers are also in contention just in general, of the division. So what do you think about this one? I think we have Vikings -1.5 on this for this.
Yeah, Vikings are -1.5 right now. Both of these are playoff teams. I mean, it's pretty much a lock. I think it might actually be a lock, but don't quote me on that. But still, there's a lot to play for here. Give me the Packers on this one.
You stole my pick. I'll have to go with the Vikings then. Because we have to be an opposite, right? I mean, we don't think we have a choice.
Game of the week, right? Game of the week, you got to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could see either team winning either, so I'm okay with the Vikings. And then, okay, so last week we had a bet, and I have to do impersonation. So this week, how about the loser of this one has to post a clip on social media where they talk about how the other person was smarter than them for this pick?
You know what? Let's do it. It's going to be you, so let's do it.
All right, we'll see. Third time might be a charm. Right.
Hell yeah.
Those are our picks for the week, and so we'd love to hear your picks. Let us know what you think. Are we on the right path? Are we not? Do you think you can do better than us? So let us know what you think of the picks of the week. So we're going to move into the last segment, which is the 2-minute warning, which I know this sounds like it's some people's favorite segment. So hopefully we can, live up to that hype. But basically, we put up a timer for 2 minutes, and we ask each other some kind of random would you rather questions. Just try to rapid fire them and give you a little bit of entertainment to close out the pod. So do you want me to start this one, Scott, with the first question when we start the timer?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me make sure this works. Once you see the countdown, go ahead and start asking. And yeah.
Okay.
Start. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Would you rather be an NBA player who can dunk but always misses free throws, or an NFL kicker who can make every kick except the extra point?
Well, Shaq had a great career doing the first one, and most kickers would get cut if they missed extra points. So let me be the NBA player that can dunk but always misses the free throw. I mean,
you're taking the money.
Yeah, 100%. You might get a rebound. All right. For you, would you rather play a soccer game in a full suit of armor or play a basketball game wearing a sumo wrestler outfit?
Probably basketball, because sumo wrestler outfit, at least you can move. I feel like I would fall down in a full suit of armor.
That's valid. That's valid.
Would you rather have the speed of Usain Bolt, but only in reverse, or the strength of a heavyweight boxer, but you can only punch with your non-dominant hand?
I think I would like to run backwards really fast. I'm going to go with Usain Bolt on this one.
That would actually be really crazy to see.
Would you rather have to run a marathon wearing ski boots or swim a mile wearing a snowsuit?
I hate both of them, honestly. Probably run a mile wearing ski boots. I mean, that would suck, but I'm not a great swimmer, so I probably have to do the marathon one.
I hate ski boots, but anyway, go ahead.
Would you rather coach a team, excuse me, of players who all love you but never win, or coach a team that wins every game but none of them like you?
I mean, you know me, bro. I'm super competitive. If you don't love me, but if we get results, chalk that up as a win. I want to win every game. You don't have to like me. Would you rather have to play tennis with a frying pan or play baseball using a hockey stick as your bat?
The frying pan, because I could probably mess some people up with that.
Okay, bet.
And then last one, would you rather be the star of a terrible team or a bench warmer on the championship winning team?
Ooh, I'd rather be a bench warmer on a championship team. I think I'm a team player, man. Obviously, you know me, and I've put a lot of pressure on myself to succeed at things I do. But it would be fun to just be a teammate that constantly wins championships. I think I would prefer that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Understandable, and actually hard to pick from. So, we are now at the final section, which is the last call. So, last call at the bar. So, Scott, you want to give the last call tonight?
As always, thank you all for supporting us on this journey. We are two average dudes who really just like to catch up. This is a way for us to kind of keep our friendship going, and to really talk about stuff that we care about, and hopefully provide a little bit of entertainment and content for others who share those same interests. So please thank you for, please thank you, whatever. Thank you so much for always kind of just checking in. Nothing means more to us than hearing from you whenever we post or when we post these episodes. So thank you all for being a part of this journey. If you haven't followed along already, check us out. It's singlebarrelsports.com, just like the podcast name, but no spaces. It's going to have links to all of our social media. Come vibe with us. Tag us, like Deeb said. We would love to continue this journey collaboratively. And we'll be back every week. We're back. We'll be back next week. I'm going to say my piece real quick and you can close us out. But yeah, happy holidays to everybody. I know that the holidays are not always without stress. I know for some people, holidays can be a little bit more sad. There's some emotions that can come from holidays. But happy holidays from Single Barrel Sports. And thank you so much for being a part of our journey. And we'll be back soon.
Yeah. Great. And yeah, I would echo some of the things that you had mentioned and a little bit more. I would say hearing from people, via whether it's just a friendly text, if you know us personally, a comment, even if you subscribe to, our pages. I know it's like one of those cheesy things that people always say that are on YouTube or whatever, but honestly, it really is. It's awesome. It's really awesome to see the support, to know that someone out there supports you and, some random, thing that you're working on that's new and you're just kind of exploring this world of podcasting. So I really do appreciate it when people reach out, when you're commenting, texting, calling, etc., or even just bringing it up in conversations if we know you personally. So thank you for doing those things. And we hope that, we earn your support and we earn your views and that sort of thing. So really appreciate you all. And I want to also just say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I know many of you are doing things this week. So if you're taking time to listen to this on a holiday week, thank you, because I know that a lot of people do spend time with family and friends for this week. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to do that. And we will see you next week for what will be, I think, our first episode of 2025 officially. So we cross over into a new year next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, hopefully it's a great year for us and for you and for all of us together.
All right. Adios.
Cheers.
Cheers.